Paul Savage here, coach of the world's strongest woman, Rebecca Roberts, and I'm going to do my strength tip of the day. So it's going to be to not max out in training. I see this all the time. People maxing out way too often, maxing out the deadlift all the time, maxing out the bench. Completely incorrect. You should never do it. So I understand why people do. You want to hit those numbers. You know, oftentimes you're failing, and you want to, you're annoyed you failed. You want to try it again. Try it again the next week. Try again. It's not working. The reason why it's not working is because you haven't put the work in beforehand and done things correctly beforehand to get there. If you did a proper training cycle, you might be able to get that same weight for a triple and it still not be maxing out. So I'm explaining the reasons why this maxing out and training too heavy is not a good thing. The first reason is that you're teaching yourself to do things the improper way. You're teaching yourself bad technique because you're going to get form breakdown because you're going too heavy, or you're going to teach yourself literally to fail because you're going to be failing. Neither's good. The second thing is recovery. It's going to mess up your recovery massively. If you max out a deadlift, because get this, Becca gets this all the time. What's your max deadlift? I don't max. What's your max push press? Don't max. So there's never an answer to that. I'd have a rough idea, but there's no point doing it unless it's in competition. If you do a max deadlift, for example, you might not be properly recovered and back to be 500% for the next month. It can really, really affect you. It's going to affect your other training, not just your deadlift, or if you do this on a squat. Not many people max out the squats, to be honest, but if you're going to do that, it is going to affect things. It's training too heavy, too often in general. It's just always going to impede your recovery. You're not going to be able to do your program correctly if you have got a correct program. And, you're just not going to be able to train as often, as optimally. And, it's just very hard to recover from with your nervous system and in general. And it's just a terrible idea. So the third thing is, so not only are you teaching yourself to do things wrong, you're, messing up your recovery, which if you can recover better, you will get stronger than the other person. So you're making your recovery worse, you're teaching yourself to do it incorrectly. But the third thing is you're also risking injury. So you're massively risking injury in terms of putting yourself over a percentage of the time you're going to get injured over not doing that. It's a huge increase, and there's literally no reason to do it whatsoever. So if you get injured, you can't lift, you can't do anything. You can actually get injuries that will just pretty much write you off permanently, put you in chronic pain, never mind, get worse for just doing the lifts or whatever sport you do, or your performance. So it's just never worth doing that. You would have to have a good reason to do that, like in a competition where there's prize money involved, or you really want to do well. Then there's a reason to do it, but otherwise there just definitely is not a reason to put yourself up for that kind of risk. And there's no reason whatsoever in this case, because it just doesn't benefit you. So don't do that. Train smart, train right, get on a proper program, put some volume in, use the appropriate loads. So if you do that right, at the end of the program, you're going to lift more weight than last time, and you still don't need to max out.